Down near Houma, when the fog rolls thick off the marsh and the moon hangs low and heavy in the sky, the old folks, they lock their doors tight. They whisper one name, a name that carries the weight of centuries of fear: Rougarou. But hold on, this here ain't the same campfire story you've heard before passed down from your pawpaw. This one's different. This story is about the hunter who went looking for the beast and found something so much worse. They called him Baptiste Thibodeaux. Now, Baptiste wasn't just any man. He was the best tracker in all of Terrebonne Parish. You could lose a needle in a haystack, and he'd find it for you, sure as the sun rises. He'd sit at the local bar, listen to the hushed tales of the Rougarou, and just laugh, a big booming laugh that rattled the beer bottles. He'd slap his knee and say, "If that Rougarou is real, I swear on my grandma's grave, I'll mount its head right over my fireplace for all to see." So, one starless October night, with the air smelling of damp earth and decay, Baptiste decided to make good on his boast. He grabbed his trusty rifle, the one that never missed. He lit his old brass lantern, its flame a single defiant spark against the coming dark, and he pushed his pirogue off the bank, the paddle slicing silently into the black, glassy water, taking him deeper and deeper into the swamp's sleeping heart. The bayou that night was unnervingly still. The usual chorus of frogs and insects had fallen silent, as if the whole world was holding its breath, waiting. And that's when he saw the first sign. There, pressed deep into the muddy bank, was a footprint. It was as wide as a dinner plate, its shape not quite man, not quite animal. A shiver, cold and sharp, traced a line down Baptiste's spine. This was no black bear. This was something else entirely. He was Baptiste Thibodeaux, the best tracker in the parish. Fear was a luxury he couldn't afford. He pulled his pirogue ashore and began to follow the tracks, his lantern casting long, dancing shadows that played tricks on his eyes. He tracked for miles, the path leading him through twisted cypress knees and thickets of palmetto that tore at his clothes. The moon, his only other guide, slipped behind a thick blanket of clouds, plunging the swamp into an absolute suffocating darkness. Then he saw them. From across the bayou, two pinpricks of light ignited in the gloom, two red eyes, glowing with a malevolent internal fire. They weren't high up like a man's would be. They were low, crouched, moving slow and deliberate through the reeds. Baptiste's heart hammered against his ribs. He raised his rifle, the cool metal a familiar comfort against his shoulder. He squinted, trying to find his target in the pitch black. But just as he took a breath to steady his aim, his lantern flickered once, twice, and died. He was swallowed by the dark, total, complete blackness, and in that terrifying silence he heard it, breathing, slow, heavy, rattling breaths that sounded almost human. It was close. Too close. The sound seemed to come from everywhere at once, a presence so thick he could feel it on his skin. They say the Rougarou doesn't kill you right away. No, that would be too easy. It tests you. It plays with you. It wants to see the shape of your soul before it tears you apart. And that's what Baptiste swore happened next, in the last lucid story he ever told. A voice spoke to him from the dark. It was a voice like gravel and swamp mud, thick and ancient. "You hunt me," it rasped, the words slithering into his mind. "I hunt you. But if you confess your sins right here, right now, I'll let you go." Baptiste, the fearless hunter, the man who laughed at legends, fell to his knees in the cold mud. He swore later that he prayed. He confessed every lie he'd ever told, every selfish deed, every dark thought he'd ever had. He emptied his soul right there on the banks of the bayou, his words swallowed by the oppressive dark. And when he finally finished, gasping for breath, he dared to open his eyes. The lantern was lit again. Its warm glow pushed back the shadows, but as he looked down, his reflection stared back at him from a puddle of black water. And in that reflection, his own eyes glowed with that same hellish crimson light. They found his pirogue 3 days later, drifting aimlessly near Bayou Black. His rifle was still there, laid carefully on the seat. His lantern, too. But there was no sign of Baptiste Thibodeaux. The search party called his name until their throats were raw, but the only answer was the sigh of the wind through the Spanish moss. But they did find one last thing. Carved deep into the wooden hull of the boat, as if scratched in with a trembling fingernail, were 7 words. 7 words that have haunted the parish ever since. He's not a beast. He's a curse. So now when the fog is thick and the night is deep, some folks say Baptiste still roams the swamp. He's a shadow among shadows, forever hunting what can't be hunted, a lost soul caught between worlds. Others say the Rougarou finally took him, that he became the thing he swore to destroy. And that's why if you're out on the water late at night, you might just see a pair of red eyes following you, keeping pace with your pirogue, guiding you home. Or maybe, just maybe, waiting for you to make one wrong turn. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to hear more tales from the shadows, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You never know what might be lurking in the next story. Stay safe out there.